Hi folks, this is College Algebra Take Home 6. We're asked to verify a pair of functions are inverses of each other. So one thing I want to point out is we're given the expression for f of x and we're given the expression for g of x, but for the g of x we're restricting the domain for the x less than or equal to 2. And that's going to play an important role here when we go through to simplify these. To show that two functions are inverses, we can plug them into each other and we should get x out of both those compositions. So if we look at f of g of x, this is f of 4x minus x squared. So everywhere I see an x in the expression for f, I'm going to substitute the quantity 4x minus x squared. And so I get 2 minus the square root of 4 minus the quantity 4x minus x squared. Now when I go through to simplify this, I'm going to have 4 minus 4x plus x squared, or in other words, I'll get x squared minus 4x plus 4. This will be 2 minus the square root of, this is x minus 2 quantity squared, which is 2 minus the absolute value of x minus 2. And so this is where it becomes important to look at the domain of g. I'm restricting the x's on g artificially. I'm restricting them so x is less than or equal to 2. So let's go over here on the side. The absolute value of x minus 2 is one of two different things. It's either x minus 2 by itself if x minus 2 is bigger than or equal to 0, or it's the opposite of x minus 2 if x minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. So if I look at what's happening over here, this would be the rule I follow if x is bigger than or equal to 2, whereas this would be the rule I follow if x is less than or equal to 2. So I go back and look at my domain. X is less than or equal to 2, which means I'm going to use this for the absolute value. So I get 2 minus a negative x minus 2, which gives me 2 plus x minus 2, which sure enough does simplify down to x for the x's that are in the domain of g. Now let's simplify the other way. Let's look at g of f of x. This is g of 2 minus the square root 4 minus x. So everywhere I see an x in the expression for g, I'm going to substitute the quantity 2 minus the square root of 4 minus x. So I'm going to get 4 times the quantity 2 minus the square root of 4 minus x minus 2 minus the square root 4 minus x quantity squared. The first one's easy enough to distribute. I get 8 minus 4 square root 4 minus x. And in order to avoid some common mistakes, when in doubt on the second one, write it out. This is 2 minus square root 4 minus x times 2 minus square root 4 minus x. So I get 8 minus 4 square root 4 minus x minus the quantity. 2 times 2 is 4. I get negative 2 square root 4 minus x. Negative 2 square root 4 minus x. That's a negative 4 square root 4 minus x. Positive square root 4 minus x squared. So I get 8 minus 4 times the square root of 4 minus x minus 4 plus 4 square root 4 minus x minus 4 plus x. And so I look at what cancels out. I've got a negative 4 square root 4 minus x, so they cancel out. I've got an 8 minus 4 minus 4, and so when the dust settles, I'm just left with x. So that'll do it for Take Home 6.